Hello, Professor Evans. My name is Adelise Quinones. We're going to be talking about Leonardo da Vinci versus Vincent van Gogh, and they are very different but somehow alike in little ways, and we're just going to talk about that. Leonardo was born on April 15th, 1452. Something I found that was really cool was that his last name wasn't actually Da Vinci. Da Vinci literally means of Vinci or from Vinci, and his last name was actually Di Ser Piero da Vinci, meaning Leonardo, son of Messer Piero from Vinci. He was an illegitimate son who was raised by Messer, and he might have been a slave from the Middle East, so his early childhood was not very financially stable. It was actually a little rough in that aspect. There's not much recorded about his life, about his younger life. Leo himself only recorded 2 childhood incidents about a kite dropping from a sky and wisping by his face, and a cave that he came across about and was curious about what was inside the cave. The fact that he recorded the cave incident, I think that demonstrates his early philosophical tendencies, because he grows up to be a great philosopher. And Vasari, 16th century biographer, tells how someone requested a painting from Leo, and he painted a picture of snakes spitting fire so terrifying that his dad, Ser Piero, sold it to an art dealer, and it ended up making its way all the way to the Duke of Milan. With the profit, Ser Piero gave the peasant, which was Leo at the time, a decorated plaque, and this was before he turned 14. This is an example of how Leo's artistic talents were recognized early compared to how Vincent van Gogh's were not recognized throughout his lifetime. Like, they weren't known at the time. At the age of 14, Leo was one of the most successful artists of his day. A man named Verrocchio assured that the young Leonardo had an education in the humanities. At Verrocchio's workshop, Leo was exposed to a vast range of technical skills and had the opportunity to learn drafting, chemistry, metallurgy, metalworking, plaster casting, leatherworking, mechanics, and carpentry, as well as artistic skills of drawing, painting, sculpting, and modeling. Again, this was around 1466, so around the time where he was 14. And even throughout, when I was researching this, it had actually said that Verrocchio was super surprised at how advanced Leonardo's artistic abilities were. Anyways, moving on. His first known work had actually been with Verrocchio, because Leonardo was so attached to Verrocchio and looked up to him and just enjoyed it. So Leo's earliest known dated work is a drawing in pen and ink of the Arno Valley, drawn on the 5th of August, 1473, at the age of 21. It's surprising to me personally that his first known work is so late in his life, because him being 21 and people knowing how talented he was all his life, I feel like he should have had more known work earlier in his life, considering how amazingly talented he was. So let's look at the painting. Here it is, and you will notice the complete superior uses of the foreground and background. Next, from 1482 to 1499, a woman named Caterina was assumed to be Leonardo's mother after she died in 1495. Around this time was when Leonardo was summoned to paint the Virgin of the Rocks and the more well-known painting, The Last Supper. Both of these paintings, this is the Virgin of the Rocks, both of these paintings are very religiously lined. So, the Virgin of the Rocks, which is a reference toward the Virgin Mary, I believe, is exemplified here in this painting that Leonardo da Vinci painted. And then this is The Last Supper. It almost looks like a picture. It's so well done, but it's not. He painted this, and it is another religiously based painting because this is Jesus Christ right here, and a bunch, I believe the 12 disciples, and it's the exemplification of the breaking bread and them eating the Last Supper with the wine and the bread there all around, and a lot of detail in the background and the foreground as well. The Mona Lisa is the most famous painting in the world. I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure a lot of people have seen it. And it's weird that nobody really knows why it was created, when it was created, or who the subject is. Historians believe, though, however, that the features of the woman are influenced by his mother, Caterina. It was created around 1507. Historians point out the absence of eyebrows and the influence by and the minimal upturned corners of her smile. They state that Da Vinci did this on purpose so that her expression could be interpreted differently by many people, because it seems that her expression was purposely shaded so that the most expressive parts of her face would be like interpreted differently by people. A fun fact that I found: Italians call the Mona Lisa La Gioconda, and the French call it La Gioconde. The Mona Lisa is also one of Da Vinci's finest sketches of nature regarding its background, and here it is. And as you can see, the background over here, and this, as you can see, she has no eyebrows, and her lips are hardly upturned so that she could be inquisitive or curious or like devilish or whatever. It's kind of in the eye of the beholder kind of thing. Anyway, around 1515, Leo spent most of his time living in Belvedere in the Vatican in Rome, near where Raphael and Michelangelo were both active at the time, actually. It was there that he spent the last 3 years of his life until he died at Close-Luce, France, on May 2nd, 1519. He died at the age of 67, which is pretty amazing compared to the age that Vincent van Gogh died at, which we'll talk about very soon. Leonardo was and still is revered as a master painter, sculptor, and architect, and a very, very great philosopher. On to Vincent van Gogh. Da Vinci was alive during the Renaissance period, as I've mentioned, but Van Gogh was alive during the 19th century, in the late 1800s. He was born on March 30th in 1853 in the Netherlands. Unlike Da Vinci, who was greater acknowledged within his lifetime, Van Gogh was really unknown throughout his life. And his art is much different. It's full of raw emotion, as expressed in much of his art, like such as The Starry Night and many others. I think this may have to do with the fact that he was unfortunately born on the exact day that his still brother was born on the year before. His parents had named that child Vincent too, so there was literally a birthstone with his name and his birth date on it, and it was just kind of depressing. If it were me, that'd be weird. And also his family was struggling financially too at the time, and he had to leave school at the age of 15. He felt his emotions very deeply, all of them. He went through a lot of jobs because of it. He suffered breakdowns, and in the process, he devoted his life to God, which is similar to Da Vinci, who is religious. And in Van Gogh's paintings, you will notice all of the evident emotions intertwined in them, such as The Starry Night, which was from a period where Van Gogh was depressed, and so he used cool colors like the blues and the white and those kind of colors to express those gloomy feelings. And like I said, this is it. Darks, blues, blacks, a little bit of white. I actually really like this painting. It's really pretty to me. Usually Van Gogh's art is what helped him stay emotionally stable from his nomadic and frustrating love life. So it wasn't working after a while, though, because his psychological health was declining. Like one night, he was found with a razor and a bloody hand, and then he was admitted to the psych ward, and then once he was out, he got put back in it, and it was in the garden of another asylum that he created his famous Starry Night, which is the one we just saw, and Irises, which is we'll see up next. This one. On July 27th, 1890, Van Gogh went on to paint in the morning as usual, but then he carried a loaded gun and he actually shot himself in the chest. But however, it didn't kill him instantly. He actually died 3 days later in the arms of his brother at the age of 37. So, unfortunately, he did not live as long as life as Da Vinci, who lived to be 67 years old. That's Iris's. A summary, Vincent van Gogh and Leonardo da Vinci lived entirely different lifestyles, as I've shown in this PowerPoint, but their works are entirely unique from one another, yet their artwork is still revered years upon years after their time. These are where my works cited, and thank you for watching.